Hello, welcome to PokéBoys, Season 3, Season 4?
Wow, going back in
Season
time.
4.
Four.
Season 4, Episode 5. Here we are. Yeah, I don't know why I
You're
thought it was
going
Season
back in
4.
time.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
you
it's the final gameplay leg of Season 4 here with Pokemon Infinity. We're going to be attacking the rest of the narrative tonight and talking about the Elite Four, or in this case, in Infinity, the Trident Tournament. But we will have, just a little update on what's coming down the road. Next episode will be it's kind of like how we did with Season 3 and Pokemon Bushido. We'll have an episode where we kind of give our final thoughts and give our review of the game. So today's episode, we're just going to be going through the last gameplay leg here. We do also have the Season 4 interstitial, which is going to be a tournament, and there's a fun update here. Atomic, the creator of Pokemon Infinity, reached out to me actually about coming on another episode to talk about Infinity again. Because we had a big update mid-season here to 3.0 and things like that. So our interstitial, we're going to have the tournament, obviously, but also there will be a small podcast episode where we interview Atomic Reactor again. And yeah, let him talk about, his last hurrah here with update 3.0 and all that fun stuff. So that's what's coming down the pipeline. Kumino, do we want to tease, or I guess it's not teasing at this point, do we want to throw out what Season 5 is going to be now, or do you want to wait until the end of the episode to do that? Or we can just tease it this week and then give more full details next week or next episode.
Well, if we're all locked in on which game is going to be, yeah, we can go ahead and drop it now. I see no reason not to.
All right, well, let's get that out of the way. I'm excited for Season 5. We're going to be returning to the challenge seasons. So we're going to have 3 challenge seasons back to back for you guys. And Kumino is going to be starting us off with our first challenge. And Kumino, the floor is yours if you would like to explain the challenge and what game we will be doing that in. That would be great.
All right, so guys, it is going to be a type draft lock. What? Not a type draft lock. I'm sorry. A gen draft lock. So the way that it's going to be set up is I, Mikey, and Dad, we will be drafting generations. So we will have what we're going with Generation 8, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gen 8. So each one of us will get to pick 2 generations. That's the only generation that we could use, those Pokemon.
Yes.
And with that, we will have the mulligan will be generations that get left out.
Yes.
And like I said, we're doing it in Gen 8, so that means we're going to be doing it in Sword and Shield on actual console. So that means we can actually, spice this up a bit, where maybe after a couple of gyms, we could link up and have battles. We can do raids together. It's going to be very, very peak, very interesting. So I hope you guys come and watch that. It's going to be great. I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, we so anytime we can incorporate some sort of draft into a challenge, I am on board for sure. The generation draft's a great idea. Really excited to do that. And there may or may not be a fourth person with us. We haven't completely solidified that. So like Kumino said, either we will each pick 2 generations we're able to use, and 2 generations, of course, will be maybe the winner of the season for final battle, we'll be able to ban the 2 generations that no one's able to use, or if our 4th host does in fact join us, then we'll each have 2 generations and no generations will be banned. But yeah, looking forward.
In which I hope I hope the 4th host actually joins us.
Yes.
I know, that'd be great. Jeff, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say it reminded me of the type draft that you did, which was
that's why I got so confused.
That was such a cool concept, and it was really fun to edit also.
Yeah. And hey, we can always do a type draft again, especially it was really fun with Jared and 2 people, but just having 1 extra person would totally change the dynamics of how the draft would work. So if we ever wanted to revisit that, we totally could, because it would be super fun and a different experience for me. Yeah, excited about that. We're gonna be playing Sword and Shield, like he said, on the actual Switch, so that'll be fun.
Glad I have a Switch.
Yeah, right. And I kind of like the idea. Maybe we'll, we haven't ironed out like all the details exactly, but man, if we do have the 4th host, doing a battle at the end of each gym and then having a reward consequence for it would be super fun. But we'll figure that out later. But yeah, there you go. Our tease for season 5. Very, very exciting. So of course we'd love for you guys to play along with us. And yeah, let's get you guys ready to get into the last leg here of Infinity.
Yep.
Nice. Man, your camera froze and like an amazing facial expression for me. That was awesome.
Dang it.
Yeah. Hopefully that comes through in the edit and you can see what I was talking about. All right. So like we do every week, let's go ahead and talk about our team that we ended last leg with. So I started leg 5 with Vivs, my Saragol, level 64, Crash, my Coca Smash, level 70, Bud, my Psy Steed, level 69, Hooch, my Warina, level 69, Toots, my Grimfowl, level 70, and Cindy, my Ego Typhlosion, at level 70. Kumino, who was your team at the end of leg 4?
Okay, so guys, just so you guys know, my PC had got destroyed, so I had to play all the way back through this game. So
in like one day, he tried so hard on Sunday.
My playthrough time was 18 hours and 26 minutes.
Holy moly!
Yeah. So and I played that straight through, just so you guys can know, straight through. But yeah. So I don't really remember what I ended leg 4 with. But I could tell you what I did was I decided that I would just use the team that I was in the tournament with. So I had to go through and make sure that I caught everybody that was on that team. So I can tell you what my team was for now. I mean, because that's the only team that I have. Like I have other mons, but like they not on the team. I just caught them because they was there.
Yeah. But who you rocking with?
It's Chompet, Alder. Well, Chompet, the Ego for Alligator, Alder, the Rotom, Fancy, the Gardevoir, Els, the Ego Charizard, Cody, the Crocodile, and Rocky, the Ego Azumarill.
Oh, nice. So it's pretty much the same team.
I was going to say it's not really familiar.
Yeah. Nice. Dad, who did you end leg 4 with?
So I ended leg 4 with Ricky, Blastoise, Larry, Tyranitar, Aaron, Skarmory, Blaze, Rapidash, Chica, Meganium, Barry, Gigalith.
Nice. So at the end of leg 3 or leg 4, I should say, we just beat
You.
Whatever her name is.
Oh.
Shoot, why did I not write this down? We just got our last badge, and we're standing outside of
Irene.
Irene. That's it.
Yeah.
We just beat Irene, and you and another Team Fate grunt like appear right before our eyes, and head into the Kronos Temple. And Irene's just like, "Oh yeah, I remember Thorn telling me that they were coming. You should go do something about that." I'll just be right here. So that's where we ended, and we begin right where we left off. But personally, we just got strength after beating Irene, so I was like, Team Fate, you can wait a second, okay? I'm gonna go do some backtracking, see what I can find. I just basically found a bunch of TMs, Stone Edge, Gyro Ball, Explosion, Rock Slide, Toxic, Dragon Tail, and a bunch of, Power Band, Macho Brace, Power Weight, those types of things. Did you guys do any backtracking before progressing into the temple?
Not at all.
Yeah, Kumino did zero backtracking between these two episodes. All right, so then we just head right into the temple. Yeah.
I did a couple things.
Okay, hit me. I'm about to sneeze. Let's see if I can mute.
So I taught Chica Hidden Power. So yeah, we got strength, and I decided to go kick rocks.
Nice.
Taught Barry Earthquake, and then I went into the temple. That's it. But there's some other stuff that I did shortly after that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right. So we head into the temple, and before we can go anywhere, we have to solve the puzzle. Dad, how was this puzzle for you?
I had to look at a picture.
Yeah.
Of which legendary was it?
This is Dialga.
Okay. Yeah, I had to look at a picture because I had no idea what this picture was. I tried. I got a bunch of the pieces right, just not in the right area. Like I had a bunch of them connecting. But yeah, I eventually got it.
Nice. Kumino.
Being that it was it was my second time doing it. Oh, I saw the instantly.
How do you feel? How do you like the sliding tile puzzles? Or whatever?
Oh, I always loved it. Generation 2, when they had it in the rooms of Alpha, man, like I used to spend so much time in there just messing around with the sliding tiles. Like it's a fun little mini game.
Sliding tiles, you just
I didn't know.
Dragged and dropped.
Yeah.
I did. Okay, I'm sorry, Jeff. I didn't know the appropriate term.
Definitely not a sliding puzzle.
Yeah,
not like Bushido.
I mean, true.
But I mean, a puzzle.
It was still fun.
Yeah, it was still fun.
I enjoy it. I thought the Dialga image that the puzzle is really, really cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so we solved the puzzle, piece of cake. I mean, I did this once before, much like Kumino. So it was easy peasy. Found Psyshock too in here. But when we get down to the Team Fate grunts, a surge of energy bursts through the area again, and we hear a roar from below, just like we did in the other temple. And by the time we make it down to that room, Yu is already there. He's like, hey, you're too late. I summoned Dialga. I caught him. Sorry, I ruined Thorn's plan. Like, you guys go suck an egg. I beat you. And he tells us that he's on a mission to stop Thorn at all costs. And this time, unlike last time, he decides he wants to throw down and battle us. So that's what he does. Did you guys, before we get into the U battle, did you find anything cool in the temple? Have any cool encounters or catches? Anything you want to touch on before we get into the battle with you?
I caught Honage.
Oh, go ahead.
Honage, nice.
I love Honage. And then I got double teamed, which I'm not a fan of the double teams.
No, you don't like the double battles?
I don't like the double teams. No. Double battles, no bueno. That's it. That's all for me.
I mean, the double battle was okay. Like they tried their best. I mean, they just couldn't compete.
Yeah. Man, I feel like that's going to be you and I in the interstitial tournament, Dad. Just not able to compete.
Yeah, I've accepted it already.
Nah, you guys will do wonderful.
I did do wonderful.
After the tournament, yeah, no.
I did wonderful against you, Dad. How was your battle with you? His team pretty stacked. He's rocking out a Palkia, a Dialga, a Ceragol, and a Dragoil.
I got whooped. Go ahead and talk about your experience. Pretty sure you wiped the floor.
Yeah, go ahead, Kumino. Let's hear it.
Well, as you guys know, like I said, I just took the team that I had in the finals with me. Was essentially my team pretty much most of the game. Anyway, but yeah, I was over leveled a little bit, so I quickly took out Palkia with a Moonblast to the face.
Nice.
Dialga was able to stand up to one Thunderbolt. Then Dialga hit Fancy with a Flash Cannon. Only did just a little bit of damage because I was so level. Then,
like 100, level 100. Or,
yeah. Well, close enough.
98.
No, at this point they was in the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, hit with a Flash Cannon. Then Warden came out to replace the fallen Palkia. It ate a Moonblast to the face. It survived on 1 HP due to sturdy. Dialga fell to another Thunderbolt. Ceragol was out to replace Dialga. Ceragol caught a Moonblast to the face and died. And Shadow Ball ended the Warden. So yeah, that battle it was pretty easy. Like it was only sturdy, and the fact that I should have hit Palkia with the Thunderbolt instead. That's the only thing that made the battle go longer than what it was.
Nice. Side note, I feel like so Ceragol's Bug Dragon. I feel like fairy types should be weak against bug types. Listen, okay, so I love that fairy type is super effective against fighting because, fighting, you think like macho, like very masculine fighting, being weak to like little fairies, like that is great. I love that. But then on the flip side, I feel like fairies should be weak against bug because, petite, very feminine fairy, like should be grossed out by bugs, right? I mean, come on. That just makes sense in my mind canon. But anyways.
Well, I mean, when you think like look at all of the stories with fairies in it. Typically they live in the forest, they're tiny, and they actually get along quite well with bugs. If you look at the Tinkerbell movie, they used to mount bugs and just be friends with bugs. So I don't know. Maybe that's what
podcast, Kumino. Maybe talking about mounting bugs. Sure.
As in like mounting a horse. People don't. Oh my God, the dirty minds.
No, yeah, you're true. You're true. The actual like fae probably not grossed out by bugs, but yeah. So I ended up winning. I did have to use like several max revives though, because unlike Kumino, my team was like right on the same level as you. But in the end, I ended up winning. You, of course, completely shocked that he lost. But he tells us, he's like, you know what? I still have one Pokemon I need to catch. So he takes off, and we now have all 3 charged shards. And so now, or not 3.
We only have 2. Only have 2.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, so we now have both charged shards, and we need to head back to Thorn. So off we go. Yes, Dad. I see you raising your hand over there.
Just a little side thing that I did since I lost, like a loser. I decided to do some exploring.
Okay.
To kind of like maybe regain some dignity, I guess. I went to the daycare.
Okay.
I got the egg hatcher. Hatched the egg. Got the Gargon. Named this one George.
Oh, nice.
Now I have 2. Well, I had 2 Gargons. Then I went to Kronos Cave. I caught a Ditto. Named it Dawn. And my Onage, I named Han. Forgot to mention that. And this is where he evolved into Dewblade.
Nice.
And then I went back to fight you. Not you, Mike, but you. Why you? I'm honestly not sure how I did it, but I did beat him. He knocked out most of my team. So it was a back and forth really between Ricky and Chica reviving and using max potions.
Yeah.
So funny thing that happened to me in this battle, when I revived Ricky, he wasn't on the screen. Like he didn't show up on the screen. He wasn't there, but he was still attacking and still getting attacked.
That's awesome.
So then it was finally down to Ricky and Palkia, and I managed to knock out Palkia.
Nice.
Ricky was not there, but he was.
He was there in
he
spirit,
was invisible.
Literally.
Yeah.
The spirit of Ricky lives on.
Right.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, hey, sometimes you just gotta win the battle of attrition, and I find no shame in that. I've done that quite a few times.
Yes.
Yeah, U's team, it's nothing to scoff at. He's got a very strong team.
That he does.
Especially like later.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Well, funny story. So when as we were playing through it, and you messaged me, and you're like, "Man, either you're like, I keep losing to you, or I finally beat you." I thought you were at a completely different part of the game. I didn't realize you were talking about this part right here. So I almost I'm glad I didn't ask you what I was going to ask you, because it would have totally spoiled everything. So, yeah, I just I got a good chuckle out of that. But yeah, so we head back to Thorn, and we deliver the shard, catch him up on everything that's been going on. He which I thought this was funny because we talked about it at the end of last episode, but he apologizes about Irene. It's that she didn't help, and he tells us, he swears that he told her to be prepared, which I thought was funny because that was something Kumino brought up and we were kind of joking around about. But Thorn is surprised that you thinks Thorn wants us to catch the legendaries. In fact, Thorn's like, you shouldn't, because they're very dangerous Pokemon that would be, not safe.
He said to stay away from them.
He did.
Yeah.
Right, but now had his plan actually worked the way that he intended it to work, we would have still been around the legendary.
Right.
Because they had to be summoned in order for us to get the charge.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm sorry. My guards, they are outside, and it's a crazy woman, and she was trying to grind on one of them. It just Lord Jesus. Yes, people, I'm at work.
This is so
That's
funny.
why you see Macho Man on the screen right now, because I am at work. But
I was gonna pretend like I didn't hear the cat-like scream in the back.
oh, so you,
I was
so,
like,
so-
I heard it. Yeah.
That was so funny.
I'm like, huh? What was that?
Oh, that's amazing.
Sound like a siren.
Yeah.
right? Oh my
So
god.
so Thorn, he tells us once the system reboots, because he now has the shards, he puts it in, he's rebooting the system, that once it does finally complete the reboot, that he should be able to send us back to our time. But of course, after it reboots, he's like, oh psych, I'm just kidding, we actually need one more shard, because Thorn tells us that we aren't from this space or time, in this reality. And he could have sworn that we were, but instead, like, we were from this reality, but from a different time. Instead, he thinks that we're actually from a completely different reality altogether. So without the energy shard from Giratina, we can only traverse through the current realities, space and time. Palkia and Dialga, they're the space and time deities, right? However, getting a charged shard from Giratina is going to be a lot more difficult, because Giratina's temple, of course, is in the Dunestone Oasis, and last time we were there, it is completely destroyed. It was destroyed over 100 years ago. So Thorn hatches a new plan, and that is to send us back in time to the last time Giratina was summoned. So we get this fancy new exosuit that he tells us it's completely safe. Don't worry. I definitely don't believe him, because there's no way he could test it. But he puts us in the suit and sends us off to collect the Giratina shard. And yeah, off we go on our test run. What did you guys think about this, like, massive wall of well, I won't say massive wall of exposition, but it was a lot to read through. But what did you think about this little update in the narrative that we got here? We'll start with you, Dad.
Oh, I thought it was great. Nice little explanation, like digging into the story a little bit more. Also, some more questions.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. We just need to get a shard, and there's no threat. And the suit should protect you. Everything should just go perfectly fine. No worries. No, I thought it was good. It was fun. Kind of had some suspicions. I was, things were starting to kind of spin in my mind at this point. A lot of clues being dropped about what was actually happening. Yeah, but
Would you?
Yeah.
What do you think, Kumino?
Oh,
maybe the crazy lady got him. Blink twice if you can hear us.
He can't blink.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for Kumino, is this update in the story? Is the story heading in the direction you thought it was heading? Like, were you expecting something along these lines in terms of, like, where we came from, or like how we got to where we are? Like,
I'm trying to separate, like, the reality of it from what my original thought was.
Right. try to get back into the
I'm trying to
time before you completed the game and actually learned the entire story.
I don't know. Like I said, I had my suspicions. Like something obviously was weird about the whole thing. Kind of questioning Thorn at this point. Like, you say you're trying to do all this stuff, like trying to get us home. We have to jump through a lot of hoops to do it. And especially, I don't know. At this point, it kind of the theory I had about see, I don't want to go too in depth with this because
that's fine.
I don't want to give away.
We'll touch on the end when we get there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there he is. He's back.
Yes, I am back. I have returned.
Welcome back.
It's cool.
We thought that crazy lady got you.
Yeah. Did she get you?
No.
Did she try to mount?
No. No. My signal had dropped, and it like both of y'all had started moving slow, and yeah.
So I was asking Dad. You know, I don't know how much you were able to hear before it started freezing up, but essentially, like, what did you think of what Thorn tells us about, not possibly being from a completely different reality altogether? The whole having to go back in time to Giratina's temple. Like, is this like? How are you feeling at this point in the story? Is it kind of lining up with where you were thinking it was heading, or is this like, did this part kind of take you off guard at all, or?
Yeah, it pretty much went in the way that I thought it was going to go. Because I remember at this point when he was saying everything, I got to thinking to myself, like, my theory seems more and more correct because, like I said, like it's the fact that they made the rush hour joke, but it was too on the nose. So I was like, yep, my theory has to be true because I bet when I get here, he's going to be there. So yeah, I like this is the best way to tell a story in terms of heavy dialogue. Like, all of the dialogue is after you get done doing everything, all your errands, you get back there, then you get hit with the I guess you would say the lore of the game or what's going on. And I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it is nice not being like interrupted mid like quest, mission, errand, whatever. Yeah. So we get in the suit. He sends us back in time, and we pop out into the Dunestone Oasis. Thorn thinks, Thorn's able to communicate with us. He also tells us the suit has like sensors and stuff, so he can read our, vitals and energy signature and stuff back in the current day in his lab. And if he senses any sort of like, oddities or whatever, he can pull us back to current day. So he pops in our ear and he tells us he thinks you is probably there due to some signature that he is picking up by the suit. And as we get into the Oasis, it's completely different, obviously, because it's 100 years in the past.
And you is definitely there.
You is definitely there. The temple is all nice and has this like really slick looking Giratina statue in front of it. And there are, I don't want to call them cultists, but basically anytime I see a hooded figure, I'm like, oh, that's a cult. But like the temple goers, they're kind of all over the Oasis and the temple, and they're actually kind of nice. I talked to all of them. One of them actually heals up our Pokemon, which was very, very nice of him. But we'll get inside, and of course we have another puzzle. Spoiler alert, it's Giratina. So, we put the image together. And we make our way through the temple. And as we get, as we're going through the temple, Team Fate and the Giratina worshippers or whatever, they're kind of duking it out in the temple. We catch some strays from the temple goers thinking that we're with Team Fate. And of course, Team Fate knows who we are. So we're, battling them as well.
Which is weird.
Which part?
That Team Fate is fighting us. But we'll get to that.
Is it weird though?
It's not weird.
Thinking about it now, it is a little weird to me.
We'll definitely dive into that later.
Yes. Sorry.
So as we're descending into the temple, another surge of energy rips through the area, and again another roar is heard below. So when we finally get down to the bottom chamber, you of course is already there. He's got Dialga out, he's got Palkia out, and Giratina is chilling there, and they're all just kind of having like this little powwow. And apparently 100 years in the past, they don't try to catch Pokemon, they try to like convince them to join you or something. So they're like, he tells us that he's trying to convince Giratina to join him. So all this is going on, and Thorn is picking up all these signatures and stuff, and he's like, all right, we got to get you out of there. So he pulls us out. He gets Giratina, and we don't even get a chance to get the shard that we need.
Nope.
So we come back, and Thorn's like, sorry, things were crazy. I had to get you out of there before anything happened. So he's like, there is this thing though in Hazeport City. There is this, lightly glowing shard in the museum that might have enough energy to be able to power the machine to get you back to your reality. So go to Hazeport and see if the museum has any information, or you can get this shard and get back. So off to Hazeport we go. Anything you two want to add before we get to Hazeport, or can I just continue going into Hazeport?
I mean, the only thing that I want to add is I'm glad that he got us out of there, because clearly we wouldn't have survived. But why not mention that first? Like, why not try Hazeport first?
Well, because my theory is he needed someone to test his exosuit out on. And he was like, I will never have a better opportunity to test my time travel suit than this right here in front of me. So I got to take advantage of what I can.
But I mean, we were pretty willing, to test it out anyway.
We had no choice. We had no choice. We had to.
Yeah.
Because he didn't give us another option.
Yeah,
Right,
that's a very valid point that I didn't even think of. Yeah, why didn't we just start with Hazeport? I'll tell you why. Because if we just started with Hazeport, we need that reason to get there to the Trident Tournament.
Y'all let me know if I'm sounding choppy stuff.
Oh no, right. You're fine.
It's doing it again, isn't it?
You're good on our end.
You're good.
Excuse me.
Just be me.
So we get to Hazeport, go to the museum, and I talked to the lady in the.
I didn't, but go ahead.
No, okay, go ahead. What did you do?
I pretty sure I went back and forth a few times because I wasn't sure. I wasn't really paying attention to where I was supposed to go. I went to.
I wait till shit come back.
I went to Dunestone. Well, I was at Dunestone. I traded my.
I'm out in the car. What more can you get from me?
Traded Aaron my Skarmory for a Kadabra.
The disrespect.
Was that a bad move on my part? Because I wasn't sure.
In my eyes, as a Skarmory stan. No, I'm just kidding.
I love Skarmory. I really have no reason or justification as to why I did it. But
no, I don't think it's a bad trade.
I think I had asked you about this.
Yeah, it depends on like what you need for your team. So like Skarmory being Steel type, obviously it's going to be a big tanky boy. And if you don't need the like Steel offensively is like it's not like super effective against a lot of types.
Well, and I was going to say it didn't really do much for me in this run.
Yeah, so like
which is weird.
If you don't have like there's a lot that can cover for Steel unless you're trying to like have something that's super effective against Fairy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Kadabra, when it gets traded, will evolve into Alakazam, and Alakazam is like a nuclear bomb, like offensive Pokemon. So you know, if you need firepower, that's a great trade.
Well, I didn't, but I wanted the option, and I do like psychic types.
Yeah.
So I traded my Skarmory for a Kadabra, and it evolved into the Alakazam, which it hasn't really done anything for me. It didn't really do anything for me
but you had
the
it.
end. But I had it. I mean, I kind of wanted to get him anyway.
Yeah. Any chance I get to talk about Skarmory, I enjoy taking, especially when Jared's around, because anytime I can give him a hard time about losing to Lemon Pepper, I will take my opportunity. The man can't even eat wings in peace anymore.
Dots are connecting.
Yes.
Is that the name that you crossed out in Discord?
Yeah.
Is that why you intentionally add it?
Yes.
Okay. I understand.
Yes,
now.
Lemon Pepper, my Skarmory from season 1.
Okay. Shout out. So there was nothing at Dunestone. After that, there was nothing going on there. So I went to Hazeport.
Okay.
Checked out the museum.
Okay.
I kept looking in the back of the building where all the fragments and all the collectibles were. I'm like, well, this one looks like the one I need, but I can't get it. So I left, did some exploring. I kicked some rocks, got some TMs, caught a herdier, named it Hank.
Nice.
And then that is when I went to Trident Tower.
Nice. Kumino. Did you do anything on your way to Hazeport to check out the museum and the shard and whatnot?
No, but I did do something while there, because when I got there, Donnie was standing on the sidewalk, and he informed me that there was a different color for alligator in the maintenance tunnels. So I went down there. It was a different color for alligator in the maintenance tunnel.
Where was Donnie standing?
He was standing on the sidewalk next to the Pokemon Center.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I did not know about this.
Yeah. So I went down into the maintenance tunnel, and I found a gray and purple for alligator.
What?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I can't remember if that's the original shiny for it. I didn't go look, but yeah, it's a shiny. I just don't think that's the actual color for it. Now it could be the rainbow mode that I have on that got it looking like that, or it could just be that they colored it like that. I don't know.
That's
But
awesome.
That's
I'm
what
gonna
I went
go
into.
back and check and see if he's still there now that I'm in the post game. that makes me sad. That's awesome though. Did the shiny replace the Feraligatr you had on your team?
No. No, Chumpade is too good because it's just a regular Feraligatr.
Oh, okay. It's not the Ego Feraligatr. Okay. That's still rad.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's different.
I
wonder if mine
don't
was
know.
Explosion since. Yeah.
I do not know. I couldn't tell you because I caught it with a quick ball.
Oh, nice.
But it was level 45.
That's awesome, dude. Anything else before you went to the museum?
Let's see. Maintenance tunnel. Oh, I named it Lockdown when I caught it, but that was it. That was the only thing.
Nice. Yeah, so we go back to Haysport, and like Jeff said, we head to the museum where Thorn told us to go. And you walk in, you talk to the lady at the counter, and there's an option where you can ask about artifacts. So I did that. She mentioned there's a trophy case in the back, so I went back there, and like Dad said, there's a glowing shard. Oh my gosh, what a great time to get the hiccups. It says there's a glowing shard in the back case. And so go back there. I'm like, oh yeah, there's glowing shard. And it is actually the fragment artifact, whatever you want to call it, that oh shoot, what's his name? Olivia's son.
Marcus. Yeah, it was Marcus.
Yeah, it's what Marcus stole in the I think leg 3 of the game that we had to go find him in the maintenance tunnel, and he returned it to Gerald, and then they threw it in the museum, turned it into a trophy. Well, that just so happens to be a semi-charged Giratina shard. So one of the guards in the museum says that the Trident Tournament was about to start soon, so that's your cue to head over to the Trident Tower. And of course, if you want to get the shard, you have to win the trophy, aka you need to beat the Pokemon Infinity Elite Four, which is essentially the first ever Trident Tournament being held here. So it's time for the Elite Four, guys. How was it for you? Like, just Jeff, you're shaking your head. I'm assuming it was a tough road for you.
It was so bad.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
Rough estimate. Yeah. How many attempts did it take you? 3? That's not terrible.
Maybe 4, but definitely 3.
That's not bad. Kumino, I'm gonna go on and say your Pokemon were probably like level 120 by now.
The highest member was level 107, and the lowest member was level 103.
It was pretty easy for Kumino.
We don't stand a chance.
In the tournament and the final battle, we set low. It's like showdown. It'll be a level cap, so our Pokemon's levels won't matter. So we will have a chance, even the slimmest, against Kumino.
Hey, a chance is a chance.
That's right. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance.
So my team.
Yes, there is a chance.
For comparison to Kumino, my team before starting the tournament was my Ceragol level 70, my Typhlosion, Ego Typhlosion level 72, Coca Smash was level 73, Grimfowl was 72, Psysteed was 72, and Warina was 72. So Kumino is like 30 levels above me.
Yeah, dude.
Listen, when you only using the same 6 months for the entire game, and like for you guys that have not played the game yet, just understand that the later that you get in the game, the higher the level your opponents are going to be. So you're going to need to take a full advantage of leveling up. and face every trainer,
Yeah.
fight all your wild battles. Just do everything that you can to level up.
That's true. That's very true. So match 1, we face off against Marcus. We just talked about him, the son of Olivia, who is the Dunestone Oasis gym leader or Ego Council member. The thief who stole the artifact in the leg 3 of the game. He is our first match. I also love how they explain it as like an actual tournament. So like,
Yeah.
this was the match we drew, right? From the lady in the counter. But anyways, his team, he has an Ego Magnezone, a Dragoil, an Uzma, which by the way is super cool. It's an Ego Muck evolution. Really, really rad. A Flygon, a Cacturn, and an Alakazam. So for me, Ego Magnezone took out Viv's, my Serigol. However, Viv's was able to get Ego Magnezone into the red. Bud came in, finished it off. Dragoil comes out, which is Stone Dragon. So I switched in Hooch, who one hit it with a Moonblast. Uzma comes out. I switched in Crash because I didn't remember the typing of Uzma, but I thought maybe it had something to do with rock, which it is, but it's also fire. So it one shot my my Coca Smash, which is grass fighting, with an eruption. I sent in Hooch, who proceeded to get 2-shot. So then I send in Cindy to clean it up with a Thunder. Flygon comes in. I put Toots in, who got dragon-tailed out of battle, and Bud was swapped in for it. At this point, I just used a max revive on Viv's. Bud ended up burning Flygon with a flamethrower and eventually was able to take it down. Cacturn came out. I, of course, left Bud in because he's fire psychic, hoping a flamethrower would kill the Cacturn before it could attack. However, it missed, and Bud was then killed by a payback because Cacturn is grass dark. I put Viv's in, who one-shot it with a Buzzbug. Alakazam came out, and Viv's took care of it in 2 shots. Do either of you care to recount your battle with Marcus? No. All right.
I did this 3 or 4 times.
Eventually, you beat him.
I did.
Do you remember any of your...
Sorry about that. I had the crazy lady in the area.
It's okay.
She's just
hanging out, man.
It's just hanging out.
She just really wanted to hear, how leg 5 of Pokemon Infinity went.
Something like that.
Yeah. How'd your battle with Marcus go, Kumino?
Well, I essentially one-shot his whole entire team. So. But I mean, I could tell you who did, each thing. Els took out the Ego Magnezone. Fancy took out the Flygon. Els took out the Cacnea. Let's see Fancy took out the Dragoil. Uzma went down to Chompet, Muddy Water, and Alakazam went down to Chompet because Chompet knows Dark Pulse. So that's nice. And yeah, that was it.
Dad, do you recall if anyone on your team was kind of like an MVP of that battle?
So I wrote down my some of the first encounter, the matchups, but no, I don't remember either. I could have been Ricky, because I'm looking real quick. Hydro Pump and Hurricane.
Okay.
Is fun. They're fun moves to use. And I actually used one of the things that raises the PP back up to where it was. I went there. I went there. I didn't mean to.
That's where are y'all minds at? Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. The I don't even know what it stands for.
PowerPoint or something like that. Presentation.
Power something. I took a potion for the PowerPoint to go back up to what it was.
Yeah.
I had to buy a lot of things because the thing with this tournament is you couldn't, whatever you had. You couldn't go back and heal. You couldn't go buy anything.
Yep.
So I stocked up on like 30 potions and 30 revives by the end of this.
Yep. That is your classic Elite Four mechanic. So once you go in, you can't go out. Now, I wonder, when you lost, like, did you make it past Marcus at some point and then lose? Or
yeah, each time I got past Marcus.
Okay.
Like I think each time it was against Koba.
Okay.
Or Donnie, one of those.
And would you then restart all the way from Marcus again? Or would it let you?
You'd have to start all over again. That was really frustrating.
Yeah, so that's like straight up Elite Four mechanics.
So, question.
Yeah.
Was there something like this in Bushido?
No.
Okay, so this is my first Elite Four experience, and it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, they tend to do that to you, for sure. Match 2, we have Donnie, the shiny hunter of the Ego region. And I love it because all of his team were shinies, which is awesome. His team, he had a Melodic, a Garochu, which is a fire electric evolution of Pikachu, which is super rad. Steelix, an Ego Firo, a Metagross, which is probably my favorite shiny in existence of shiny Pokemon.
He was very cool.
And Lepedion, I think that's how you say it, which is a new evolution of Eevee.
Yep.
And so that's his whole team there. Which, before we talk about that, I just want to say Uzma is so cool. Like, I wish I would have remembered that Pokemon, because I would have tried to use an Ego Muck, the Ego Muck line, because that would have been so rad. I love Uzma, and if I play another run of this, I think I will definitely be trying to get that on the team. Anyways, back to Donnie. This one was easier for me than Marcus. First I only had one run through the tournament here, and Donnie, I didn't have any casualties. Crash was able to absorb a hydro pump to the face after I switched him in for Vivs, who was my lead. And Crash was able to one-hit KO Melodic with a Leaf Blade. Garochu comes out and Fire Electric. So, I learned my lesson last time with Uzma. I don't want my Crash to get one shot. So I switched Vivs back in, smacked it with an Earth Power for a one shot, because you got the quadruple effective there. Steelix comes out, switched in Bud for a Flamethrower. However, Steelix had Sturdy, so he didn't get one shot, but a second Flamethrower finished the job. Ego Firo comes out, which is Dark Fighting, so of course, switch in Hooch, get that Quadra effective Moon Blast. However, Hooch was outsped and almost died to a high jump kick. Metagross comes out. I put Bud back in because you guessed it, Flamethrower is OP. So Metagross is holding a berry that weakened fire attacks, though, so it took 2 Flamethrowers instead of 1. Lepedion, I hope I'm saying that right. I had no idea what type this was, but I kept Bud out there just because he was already out there. Smacked a Flamethrower and ended up one-shotting it because Lepedion actually ends up being a bug type. So easy peasy. I felt like I channeled my inner Kumino in this fight. I had no deaths, no complications. anything you guys want to add about Donnie before we move on to Koba?
No, not particularly. I mean, as you guys know, like, because I had to have a second run through with just 6 Pokemon, my team was overpowered. So, yeah, he just got beat up like like Marcus did.
Yeah. So another thing that should be noted, Dad, this game, the level cap, I want to say it's 150, but I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
it's 150.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely over 100 because Kumino's team is over 100. But the main series games, the level cap's 100. So it's pretty cool that they raised it for this game. With that being said, match 3, we have Koba, and this is, of course, the Echo Rock gym leader Howlett's son. We met Koba. He was leading the caravan into the not Kronos Temple, the Palkia Temple, which I cannot remember. Kronos? No, I didn't say. Anyways, Palkia's Temple. So we know who Koba is. His team, he has a Nidoking, an Ego Charizard, Hydreigon, a Machamp, a Xatu, randomly out of nowhere, super weird, and a Torterra. Again, Vivs is my lead. I never changed Vivs out of my lead spot, but yeah, whatever. Vivs was kind of useless for most of the tournament. I switched in Toots for some action because Toots had 0 action up to this point, and Toots ended up getting 2-shot, so that was kind of a poor move on my part. So I sent in Bud, who ended up surviving an earthquake with like 12 HP, which is crazy, and ended up one-shotting the Nidoking with an extra sensory. Ego Charizard comes out. I swapped in Hooch, who ended up getting 2-shot by a flamethrower, which really sucked. So I sent in Vivs, who ended up actually doing something and finishing off with Outrage. Hydreigon comes out. I kept the Vivs in there because it was in the middle of an Outrage, so I just let it keep outraging and one-shot the Hydreigon. Machamp comes in. I just left Vivs out because, why not? And it ended up hurting itself in confusion, but was able to get off 2 aerial aces to knock out Machamp. Xatu comes in, and I was like, all right, Vivs, you put in work. Finally, you did something. So I sent in Cindy, who was able to one-hit KO the Xatu with a nice Thunderbolt. Torterra comes in, who is grass ground, and I decided to swap in Crash and was able to take it out with 2 fire punches. Victory is ours. Moving on to the finals. Anything you two would like to add before we get into Lucy?
Yeah, nothing here for me because, like I said, I just pretty much murdered his team to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like next season, Kumino, you should just record yourself saying, no problem, just one-shot everything. So when I ask you, you could just be like, hold on a second, and then push play.
Yeah.
No problem, just one-shot everything. Yeah, so match 4, we square off in the finals against no other than Lucy, who is Professor Wormwood's assistant that helped us out at various points in the game. Did either of you guys see this coming? I kind of liked the cast here of the quote-unquote Elite Four. And I thought it was really kind of cool that you face off against the professor's assistant in the finals. Because the first time I played this, I was like, oh, wow. I didn't see that one coming.
I actually put
this
coming.
That's what I put. I should have seen it coming because, like, okay, so everybody, well, not everybody, but there's a lot of people there that you've talked to throughout the game. Mm-hmm. And she's one of the people that's there. And being that we have to go back downstairs after our matches, but she's always there, I did not realize that she was going to be an opponent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool. I liked it. And her team, for me at least, was very tough. So she had a Grimfowl, a Dragonite, a Quezsparse, which is a new evolution of Dunsparce, a Blaziken, a Volcarona, shout out, and a Mismagus. Magus? How do you say that?
Magnus.
Okay.
Miss Magnus? Yeah, Miss Magnus.
All right. So of course Viv's is my lead. I switch out Viv's for Cindy to take advantage of the electric versus flying typing, and I almost was able to one-shot the Grimfowl, but before I could finish it off, she switched in Dragonite, and Grimfowl ended up coming back out after I defeated the Dragonite with Hooch, actually, because Dragonite was able to knock out Cindy with an extreme speed. Hooch took care of the Dragonite with 2 Moon Blasts. Grimfowl comes back out, and I was able to max revive Cindy, who finished off the Grimfowl with a Thunderbolt. Quezsparce comes in. I put Hooch in because I wasn't sure what the typing was. Got it to half HP with Ice Punch because I think it's Dragon, or at least, one of its types is Dragon. But it was holding Rocky Helmet, so that ended up sending Hooch to the Shadow Realm. No, hold on. Hooch was able to send Quezsparce to the Shadow Realm with a Moon Blast. Viv's comes out and ends up getting 2 shots. No, wait. Hooch did die. Wow, my notes are really bad. Viv's comes out. Outrage had no effect on Quezsparce. So this raises my question about what this typing was even more, because
Its typing is Fairy Ground.
Fairy Ground.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why Ice was super effective and Dragon had no effect. Okay, interesting. That makes a lot of sense. Viv ends up getting 2-shot, by the way. So I sent in Toots, who then got 2-shot by Moonblast. And finally, Bud was able to survive an earthquake somehow and take out with a flamethrower. At this point, Grimfowl comes in. I got my order off. I was able to finish off the Grimfowl with a Thunderbolt. Blaziken comes in. I keep Cindy out, who is able to paralyze Blaziken with a Thunderbolt, and able to kill it with a second Thunderbolt. Volcarona comes out. I kept Cindy out, missed my first Thunder, but luckily Volcarona did Quiver Dance twice, and he ended up eating a Thunder and surviving with 20 HP, but it was able to be paralyzed. Eventually, I was able to kill Volcarona with Crash because Volcarona was able to take out Cindy. So I'm down to my last Mon at this point, and Miss May just comes out, and I use this as an opportunity to max revive Toots and Hooch just to play it safe. I send Toots in and get it down to 50% HP before being one shot by a Thunderbolt, which was super random. And then I send in Hooch to finish the job with a Dark Pulse. First attempt, very close to losing it at the very end, but we get the trophy by defeating Lucy. How was Lucy for you guys?
Jump it, one shot, everything. It was no problem. Easy peasy.
I love it. All right. Well,
I one shot her whole team with Ricky.
Oh, really?
Nice. There we go. Dad bringing out the inner meat.
I can't tell if he's being serious or not, though.
My second time.
Oh, okay.
It was closer to that, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so let's take a brief moment here before we finish up the narrative. How did you feel about your first Elite Four experience?
It's rough, man. Like, never going through one of these before. I'm like, at first, I'm like, this is rigged. There's no way I can do this. Especially not being able to, like, heal up in between battles. Like it's bam, 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 bam. So not going through that before. I mean, it does tell you in advance that, you know, once you're entered in the competition tournament, you cannot heal your Pokemon or buy any items from the shop. But I'm like, maybe they'll make an exception. They did not. It was televised after all, so
That's true.
You know, you had to be on your game. Which, not having a game to begin with Final Four, no experience. There was no game to be had. I just kind of went in swinging and got beat up a lot, and then got a whole bunch of potions and eventually got through it. But
yeah,
I can't even tell you like how I would have done it differently. Other than really getting a better grasp of the typing.
That'll come as you play more, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I do really well with rock types. I just bring out Ricky and blast them all with water.
Yeah. Elite Fours can be tough, especially if you for your first time. Now that you've been through one, I'm sure you're aware now. But yeah, definitely stock up on the revives and the hyper potions, the max potions. And then in between each battle, you can like revive your team, fully heal them up with all of your items in your bag, and then go on to the next battle. But yeah, it can be tough. Funnily enough, the main series games, after you defeat the Elite Four, you're surprised by having to battle the current champion. So like, there's actually 5 battles at the
Bonus.
end. Yeah. So this game didn't do that. You just have the 4 battles, which is cool.
Which I'm very happy about.
Yeah. So Kumino, I know that you one-shot everything, but how did you think? What did you think of like the Infinity take on the Elite Four using the Trident Tournament as like a substitute, and how they set it up and explained it?
I gotta say, I like it better than the way Kukui did the first Alola League.
Okay.
Because this one it seemed more interesting, and it came out of like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like there was no plan for no. It's the first of the month, people, and it's a lot of.
Kumino is in the middle of actually arresting someone right now. So
not at all. Not at all. Right now they can have it. I'll get them. But yeah, making a tournament and deciding, hey, this tournament is going to be our Elite Four. It made it that much more special to actually win.
Yeah, it's a really cool take on it. I like it. I like it for sure. Especially since, there were 5 gyms. So having quote unquote Elite Four being made up of 80% of your gym leaders would be kind of silly. So we are the Trident Tournament champions, the first ever tournament champion. And now that we are the champion, we of course have the Trident Trophy, which they graciously let us spend, like, what did they say, 24 or 48 hours with?
Yeah.
No, he just said a few days.
Oh yeah, super easy, barely an inconvenience. So we have the faintly glowing shard, which we of course go to show off to Professor Thorn. So we head back to his lab. We give him the Chaos Shard, which is what this was called, by the way. He even drops a line of dialogue along the lines of, "Wow, what a convenience," about the shard just happening to be the tournament trophy.
Yeah.
Very, very nice Atomic.
Very
tongue in cheek there. I like it. But before we can get the machine back, up online running to go home. We have to do one more thing. He has to shrink us down. We're going all Ant-Man here, so we can adjust part of the machine. So he shrinks us down. We go inside the machine, and we have to activate these nodes to get something running right. Fine, cool. We get a Porygon X. When we get out, Thorn goes on about how crazy it is that he developed this machine that can travel through infinite realities. But before we can go home, a huge tremor happens, and we hear like sound of a wild Pokemon or something. The power gets knocked out of the lab. So of course we got to go out and check it out. What the heck happened? We can't get in the machine now.
And who is it?
Who is it?
It's you.
Me? Or Kumino? Or
Yes.
was it you?
Is me.
It's me.
Is
all of
you.
us.
Is me and you. Right.
All three.
It is me and you. You're so right.
As well as it's Dorn and everybody else.
Yeah. So, man,
We're all there.
dude, let me just tell you before we get into what happens. The first time I played through this, I was enjoying the game. The narrative was like okay. It was pretty like mid. I was enjoying the game most for their regional forms and the cool like new Fakemon, the cool new evolutions that we got. The story was okay. It was unfolding like rather slowly and felt very backseatish to the gameplay until we get to this point. And this like just blows the roof off of everything. And I was like, this is amazing. I love this. So without further ado, let's get into what happens at the end of the game. We go outside. Yu is there, and he is decimated the outside of the lab, the power source, everything, with his Dialga, his Palkia, and Giratina. And he says, after seeing us at the Chaos Ruins without Dialga, he knew that Thorn had a backup plan. His entire mission was to stop Thorn from using us as a mean to Thorn's end. Thorn comes out, and he's like, hey, who are you? And he's like, yeah, you're right. And he's like, no, like who? Who are you?
Who are you?
But no, he asks who you is, and you says Thorn. You says Thorn knows, and allegedly so do we. You says Thorn is using our amnesia to help Thorn accomplish something nefarious, a machine that distorts time and reality. You is from a future in which Thorn succeeds. The reason you knows what Thorn is up to is because his Thorn used him to do the same thing that our Thorn is using us to do. You is from an alternate future. Thorn is, if we're going Dungeons and Dragons here, Thorn, he's like neutral chaotic. He's neither good nor bad, but very much chaotic.
Yes.
He sees the implications of his reality hopping as a mere side effect to his pursuit of knowledge. So essentially, you has found a way, or not you, Thorn has found a way to jump between an infinite number of realities. And he's been doing that. And as he's done that, he's learning all these things and messing up the other realities and all this stuff. Thorn doesn't think that's a big deal because he's learning a lot. So essentially, through all this exposition, Thorn says that all of Team Fate's grunts are just teal alternates. What?
Yeah,
teal.
That blew my mind right
Come
there.
on.
That was crazy.
Come on, now we're getting into like Loki territory. So Thorn knows all about you because this isn't the first time that this whole thing has happened. It's actually happened a dozen times. And basically, Thorn tells us that this loop is infinite and always will be. So what we're playing out right now has happened many, many times in the past and will continue to happen many, many times in the future. So all this is going on, and we'll just pause right now before we get into anything else. I want to know what's going through your guys' minds as you're reading all this stuff and it's playing out. Kumino, let's start with you, sir.
I knew it. I said, you is me from the future. I knew it. But the fact that Thorn is me.
Wait, we didn't get into the double plot twist yet.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's okay.
Well,
we'll do it now. Double plot twist. Not only is you us, but Thorn is also us. We're all
right. I'm sorry, guys.
We're all you.
No, we're all you.
Right. In which I was like, yo, what the? I was like, this is crazy. That was the craziest spin, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. What was going through your head, Dad?
I was just as shocked to find out that Thorn is also you. Well, us. The whole you, us being you, like I kind of like had that earlier on, after like when we first fight him. I wrote down in my notes, "Are we you?" So yeah, it was very cool twist. Even kind of suspecting the whole you thing, it was still kind of cool to see that play out. And then Thorn just, it was wild and cool. Yeah. Cool storytelling. I love it.
Yeah, Thorn's I like all this because it's me. I am all of you.
Right. And when he said that, I was like, Thorn drops the bomb that he is also me from even further in the future. I wrote in parentheses, I was like, me and the deities' heads are spinning because we standing there like, so the way that I actually wrote up the notes at this point, because we're standing in front of Giratina and the other two, like they're just standing off to the side. So I'm like, I'm having a conversation with Giratina. I'm like, Giratina, this is crazy, right? He's like, yeah, it really is, man. Like, this is one. You got some popcorn. Because like they finding out all this is like, wait a minute, we ain't know none of this.
It's
crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool, like double plot twist. Because the first twist, you can see coming. But I did not see the Thorn thing coming. Excuse me. So after this whole story is unraveled to us, Thorn's like, all right, so what are you going to do? Are you going to stop you? Or are you going to stop me?
Who is also you.
Yeah, exactly. Very confusing. But yeah, you're given a choice. Do you want to stop you? Like, is Thorn, are you on Thorn's side? Do you think you is in the wrong? Or
this is terrible.
Do you now see what Team Fate and you have been trying to do? Is Thorn the bad guy? Are you going to fight Thorn? So, Dad, which did you choose?
So I first I get to choose who to fight. Like, who do I fight? Me or me? Like, who is right and who is wrong? But I chose to fight Thorn because he was ultimately wrong. And then he pulls out our chaos.
Yeah. Kumino, who did you choose to fight?
I chose Thorn because I was like, well, first I asked Giratina. I said, who do you think I should fight? And Giratina was like, well, you know what? Since this guy did it 100 times over, I would say beat him up because he seems like he's messing up everything. And I was like, all right, so I went with Thorn.
Nice. Yeah. Man, I think my first playthrough, and I'm trying to remember, like over a year ago. I think I fought you first. In this playthrough, I fought Thorn, but we'll go into that later. Yu's team is very strong, by the way. He has a full team of 6, and it's
Stacked.
super strong. But like Dad said, Thorn only has 1 Pokemon. However, it is the legendary Fakemon Archaeos, which its lore is really cool.
So cool.
It's the serpent Pokemon that was hinted at in the Suncrest Isle, I think was the name of the island that we talked about in whatever episode that was. I think maybe it was last episode.
It was.
So not Rayquaza like Kumino speculated. They were talking about Archaeos. But yeah, Archaeos was responsible for creating Arceus and the other cosmic deities, which is kind of interesting, and it kind of lives like outside of space and time or something like that. But yeah, what's up, Jeff?
To put it into perspective of narrative and the way his name sounds, our chaos, like it is literally our chaos that is happening right now.
That's awesome. I didn't even put that together.
I put that together too, because I was like, that's a dope name right there.
Oh man, I'm just dumb.
So cool.
Man, that's actually really cool. Also,
we'll have to bring that up to.
Yeah, you guys will. When we see Archaeos like rise up from behind the lab, that first thing, so sweet.
Like, there's no way I'm gonna miss this thing.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Yeah, so Archaeos level 80. It was. I think it only took me 1 try. It 2-shot Vivs. Toots was able to put it to sleep and heal up with Dream Eater. Toots did get knocked out though. Cindy went out next, who got 2-shot, but it did get Archaeos into the red. Hooch came out and got 1 hit KO'd. Crash went in and was able to finish it up with a superpower. And even though, like, you know, the fate of the infinite realities or whatever was at stake, Thorn still gave me 12,000 Poké-Dollars for beating him, which I thought was very generous. But yeah, how did your guys' battles go? Wait, hold on. Kumino, let's see. What Pokemon of Kumino's do you think 1-shot Archaeos? My guess would be Rotom. I'm just gonna throw a wild guess out there.
No, it was. Do you have is Tails on your team?
Who?
Is it Tails?
No, I have no one named Tails. I have Chompet.
All right, give me some options.
Chompet the Ego for Relegator. Ails the Ego Charizard.
Ails.
Sorry about the plane in the distance. Rocky the Ego Azumarill. Fancy the Gardevoir. Cody the Crocodile, and Alder the Rotom.
Your Ails.
No, it was actually Chompet.
Chompet. Okay.
But actually no, Chompet did not 1-shot it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, actually Chompet got knocked out.
What?
Yeah, because okay, so spoiler, its typing is cosmic.
Indeed.
So yeah, it's a bit rough. I tried to do something to it with Sludge Bomb. That didn't do anything. I tried Dark Pulse. That didn't do anything. And that's when they took out Chompet. So at that point, I brought in Fancy, and Fancy lived long enough to finish it off with a Moonblast.
Nice.
Yeah, so somebody finally fainted. It was Chumpet. So sorry, Chumpet.
Mhm. So we win. We beat Thorn. But since you destroyed the lab, our chaos had to reset the reality. So when this happens, Thorn is there with us in like this dreamlike space, going on about how he really wanted to send us home, but had to send us off in dramatic fashion. So like, you know, he knew that this was going to happen, but like, just let it happen anyways because drama. He tells us triple plot twist. He tells us that none of this actually was real, just a figment of our brain conjured up. Thorn knew we weren't put here by Celebi. We were just trying to prolong the dream. And now the dream is over. The journey is done. It's time to wake up. So, turns out we were actually in a coma. We wake up in a hospital bed. Shades back to the last time we were in the machine on the rooftop in the dark hall and all that stuff. All of the dialogue of, trying to stay asleep or just waking up or blah, blah, blah. If we would, I don't know if you guys explored and like clicked on things. I'm sure Jeff did. That was your motif in this game, clicking everything that's clickable. But we wake up, you find out that if we wake up, we, can't go back to sleep. Because if we're not fully recovered, we could slip into a permanent coma. I almost said cola. You never want to slip into a cola. That's just gross. Cool side note, like there's a little DS on the side table next to us, which could explain why, this was our coma dream, right? And turns out one of the doctor's names was Wormwood, and one was named Lucy. So again, how those show up in the thing. But as you walk around the hospital or whatever, if you go down the hall, you can choose to go home, or you can choose not to go home and continue walking around the hospital and eventually climb back into bed and go to sleep. So what did you guys choose? Kumino, we'll start with you first.
Okay. So like you said, I clicked on everything around the room too because like the art style was very different.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fascinated by the world. And I was just exploring around, clicking on a whole bunch of different stuff. But when I saw that like it said, you see your parents standing down the hall, you can go home with them. As a parent, the only thing that I could think of was I must go to my parents because I know that they miss me
Mm-hmm.
and that they want the best for me. So rather than prolonging a dream, I had to go home with them.
Same. Dad?
Oh yeah, I went home. I run.
You ran. Well, we all chose the wrong thing because that ends the game. I mean, they both end the game, but this essentially is like a game over. And when you fire the game back up, you're back in Thorn's lab, and you have to fight. Choose between Thorn or you again.
I went all the way through the credits.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah, right. I mean, it's not like a game over per se. Like it does end the game. It goes through the credits or whatever. But when you load your game back up,
you're back in
Thorn's lab, right. And you're like, okay, nothing I did. I have to do it all over again. So do it all over again. And of course, this time, because we have a tournament coming up, we have our final battle coming up, and I want to play the post game. I decided to not go home with my parents, and I crawled back into the hospital bed and slipped into a permanent coma, and rolled credits again. Did you guys end up doing that?
Not at first.
No, I did not do that. It was 3:06 a.m. when I got done. So I was like, I am tired. I am finally going to bed.
Yeah.
I will do it later.
A real life coma after that.
Right. I did. Actually, I slept to like 4 o'clock that afternoon. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, you kind of say I did.
Dang.
It was a good sleep.
Yeah. So yeah, what'd you guys think? And we'll save like the in-depth like review part for the next episode, but just like now that we made it to the end, what'd you think?
Good game.
Good. It was a really good game.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, join us next week. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I would just say they need to. I ain't gonna say they need to, but like a lot of fighting types. A lot of fighting types.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a really great game. I feel like like I said from my first playthrough, I was enjoying it up to the end here, just on the Pokemon and like the action, like the gameplay aspect of stuff. Not that I thought the story was, poor or anything. I just didn't. It just took a back seat to everything else in the game until you get to this part, and then I was just like, my mind was blown like over and over again.
Over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
It was great. I loved it, and I remember very distinctly like messaging Jared and being like, "Bro, I thought this game was awesome, but then I like beat it, and it just like I feel like the game just started. Like it like totally changed everything." So yeah, I'm interested to hear listeners what you guys think about it. How you thought the story unfolded here at the end. If you were as shocked and surprised by all of the plot twists we got, or if you were like, some kind of clairvoyant and totally saw everything coming, which if you did, I'm just going to call BS. I feel like you could see one or two of these things coming,
But not
but all of them?
Yeah.
Come on. So
Yeah, you're
let us
not
know.
seeing all of them.
Yeah. Leave a comment. Let us know. I guess let's go ahead and give our teams that we will be using in 1, our season-ending final battle next episode, and 2, of course, for an interstitial tournament that we will be having. The rules we set in place for that were no legendary or mythical Pokemon, of course. Sorry, Jared. And and you have to use the team that you rolled credits with, you beat the tournament with. So my team didn't really change at all the entire season, with the exception of I don't know if you guys caught it, but I dropped my starter Pokemon last leg and beat the game without my starter.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, Bulbasaur.
Such disrespect.
That you lose automatically.
So I finished up with Vivs, my Ceragol, Crash, my Coca Smash, Bud, my Psysteed, Hooch, my Warina, Toots, my Grimfowl, and Cindy, my Ego Typhlosion. Dad, what was your final team?
So I had my Tyranitar, Larry. So I took the Porygon X. Can I use him?
Did you beat the tournament with him? No.
But I don't remember who I had.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, I had Tyranitar, Meganium, Blastoise, Rapidash, and Luxray.
Okay, real quick, Dad. If you go to the PC, it says Hall of Fame on there. It shows you the mod that you use to
that's right. Your little card. Excuse me.
Hall of Fame. Okay. Oh, what just happened? Okay. Blastoise, Meganium, Rapidash. What's that dude's name? Alakazam,
Hmm.
Boldor. I think that's who that is. And my Luxray.
Nice. Kumino.
Okay, like I said at the beginning, I just ran with this 6. Chumpet, the ego for alligator. Alder, Rotom, Fancy, Gardevoir. Els, ego Charizard. Cody, Crocodile. And Rocky, the ego Azumarill.
Nice.
And if you want to know their levels,
please tell
Chumpet,
me.
Yes.
Chumpet 108, Alder 107, Fancy 108, Els 107, Cody 107, Rocky 107.
Wow. Your team almost sounds like a radio station name.
107.
Chomp at 107 in the morning. I don't know.
Ego in the morning.
Right.
That was a good one. All right, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Next week. I always say next week, but our episodes are 2 weeks apart. So next episode, we will be going through, like, we'll give a little more detailed analysis on our final thoughts of the game, give you a review of it, our recommendation. I think we could just probably get that out of the way right now. I think would all recommend playing this game. It's pretty great.
Yes.
But we'll get into more detail next week. We'll also have our season finale battle between the 3 of us. What did you decide on the perk for the winner, Kumino? Or is that something that we will announce, in between these episodes?
Oh, I figured they would just be able to choose from one of the 2 because we only had 2 options. So, like, just let them choose one of the 2, whichever one they wanted.
What?
It was they get to either choose the challenge or they get to.
No. I mean, for like the season 4 final battle between the 3 of us, like, the winner usually will get a perk going into the next season. Like you won season 3, so you got a shiny starter.
Oh yeah, we had picked that too. The winner gets the first round draft pick.
Okay. I like it. Well, there you go.
Which will be you.
Stakes have been set. Kumino, think of your first pick for the generation draft.
Oh, I already know my first pick.
There you go. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. We hope you enjoyed the game. Let us know what your favorite part was. Let us know your final teams. Let us know what your favorite Pokemon in your run was. Your favorite Fakemon or regional variant or whatever. Just let us know. Leave comments. We enjoy reading them and chatting with you guys. So until then, make sure you follow Kumino on Twitch and Twitter. His links are in the episode description. Subscribe here at Showboys and stay tuned because we have some exciting PokéBoys announcements coming before season 5. So with all that said, have a good night. See ya.
Peace.